Alright, that's good. We've got that in. We just wait for this to jump into life. And hopefully it is set on private. It is set on private. And cool. Alright, that's working. I'm going to find it. Oh, hang on, I won't be able to find it until I've actually gone somewhere else. Will I? Nah, I forgot about that. Alright, so we're going to go public. And then go find this. There we go. There it is. Found you. You're up, you're running, you're working. Just gotta make sure I got it on my phone. On my phone, where is it? Give me a second. I'm getting there. That way I can actually see what the comments are off my phone, and the comments will not be in the way. Well, that is the plan. Live chat is updating. Come on. Very good. Hopefully I'm not experiencing interruptions. I'm hoping that I am going to get no interruptions. Just see what's happening here. Just going to update this to make sure I've got it running properly. And then we're going to give this a shot. I don't know why my phone is not doing what it needs to do. I'm going to just check. Okay, alright, well it should be working. We'll check it in a second anyway. So let's move to the website. And I've got to make sure that I'm actually getting video through here, otherwise that could be a very, very strange stream if I haven't checked that the sound is coming through. And the sound is coming through, so that's good. So I'll unplug that. And I'm going to tap and retry. Don't know why that's doing that on my phone. Just bear with me. If I can get it working on my phone, that means I can track things pretty easily. I honestly do not know why it's not doing what I need it to do on my phone. Which could mean that I might need to use the pop-out chat every once in a while. So let's just have a look, see if I can pop out the chat and then come back to it if I need be. If I have to put it out and see it from time to time, it won't. Okay, that's working. If I can't track it on my phone, then at least I can do it here. Yep, that seems to be right. Cool. Alright, we're going to get started in a second. Since my phone is not playing Fear, I may need to actually pop the chat out and stick it in the way, and then I will minimize it down so that you can still see what's going on. But we'll get started in a second. We'll start shortly. Well, misspelt. That was an accident. Not what was I intending. Never mind. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the chat for now, and we'll just go into it, and then hopefully my phone will break back into life and I'll be able to do this without too much trouble. But I will come back to the chat. My intention is to answer questions. I just want to sort of work my way through building a character so you can see how it's done. And then, yeah, if you guys have sort of got things to add or questions or things you've spotted when you're using it, then you can add it in. Right, let's get that out of the way. Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today we're going to use the Dungeons and Dragons or D&D Beyond website, and we're going to create a character. We're going to use the character builder. I've already done a video on this particular topic, just sort of showing you the website. I haven't released the review, and I will do a review on other parts of the website. I will also have like a very quick generic review so you can see exactly sort of what it is without having to watch a really long stream of any kind. This is sort of intended to be an opportunity to sort of work through the entire thing and see how a character is going to be made. I'm going to go with the wizard. That's what we're going to make, is a wizard today. So go to create a character. Make sure you have a Twitch account so you can actually log on to this website. And once this loads up, there are 3 different ways you can create a character. One is randomized, which is create a character of any level basically, and it randomizes all the statistics and sets the parameters for you. There's still a little bit of work that needs to be done, but we're not going to do that one today. There's the quick build, where you create a first level character using the recommended starting options. And today we're going to use the standard feature, where you create a character by making choices using the step-by-step approach. And I think this is probably the best way to actually get started with creating your own character, particularly if you haven't got somebody hanging around who can sort of walk you through it. So we're going to start with standard character. So we'll click on there, and it gives you a lot of information, breaks it down. So creating a character, there's a whole bunch of information, which I'm going to pretty much skip through. But you'll notice here along the top here, when we started our character creation, there's a home section, there's race, class, abilities, description, equipment, and then what's next. And this is sort of breaking it up in the same sort of format as you would get if you're using the player's handbook and you're using the front part of the player's handbook. So they've kind of taken that, and you get a basic idea of how to sort of do that. So the first step is we're going to move on, because we're only at the very beginning of it. As I said, we're going to do a wizard today. Okay, so character name, definitely don't want my name. That sounds like a really bad idea, so I'm going to skip that. Kira. Is Kira a good name? I'm not sure. I really like the idea of Kira as a name, but we'll go with that. We'll go with a picture. It probably might be better to put the picture in later, actually, because I haven't got a race yet. So let's deal with that first. Do I want milestones or XP? So it gives you the option to actually select whether you want to use milestones or experience points. We'll go experience points, because just for the sake of it. There's an encumbrance section, so you can use the encumbrance rules or no encumbrance rules, or use a variant encumbrance rule. I think no encumbrance, because I just don't like having to track that sort of stuff, and hopefully you get a dungeon master who feels exactly the same way. Going down here, hit points. When leveling up, increasing your hit points by a fixed value for your chosen class, or manually entering a rolled value. Now we're going to go with fixed. Now there's a couple other things here in that first page you'll see, and that is homebrew content. You can turn it on so you can access homebrew content, or you can turn it off. So I'm going to leave it on. It won't make any difference, because I'm probably not going to use any homebrew content. I'm going to scroll on down, and at the bottom it says show unarmed strike. So this sort of already calculates it for you. You don't have to worry about figuring it out for yourself. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, actually. I think it's actually not a bad idea. It apparently seems my phone is working, so you should be able to put stuff into the chat so I can see it. Okay, so I'm going to go forward to the next step. Moving on. I've left the unarmed strike feature in, so it already calculates it all for me if I decided to use it. And it would be just pretty standard anyway. So choosing a race. So what race shall we pick? Well, we've got a couple of options, and it talks about races here. So we're going to just skip past this, because that's just giving us information, nothing else. Right, this is where we pick our race, and it breaks it up into the source books. So you can use the basic rules, you can use the Elemental Evil Player's Handbook, or you can use the Player's Handbook. You're not going to get all of the options, obviously, but pretty much all of that is accessible. Or you can go with all 3 sources. We're going to go with all 3 sources. And we're going to go down, and I want a high elf. I think a high elf is probably a good option. Where is it? Half elf, elf. Did I go past elf? There it is. Right there. High elf. And it has a pop-out menu. Sort of gives you a bit of information before you select it. Just like so. So we're going to get some cantrips. We're going to get long sword, short bow, and long bow proficiencies. We're going to get intelligence increases, which is good for a wizard. So that's why we're going to pick it. So we're going to select that. Cool. Don't have to pick the most optimized option. You just can do what you want. It's up to you. So we've now picked a race, and it then gives you a breakdown of dark vision. So they get dark vision, and they get keen senses. You have proficiency in perception, Fey ancestry, advantage on saving throws against charmed or magical effects that can put you to sleep. Trance, oh my, how many times have we had to talk about trance? I have done a video on the elf trance, so have a look at that if you're a little bit confused. And we get one cantrip of our choice, so let's we can pick that right now. What will it be? A cantrip that would be useful. Somebody was talking about poison spray, and I don't like poison spray very much, but I'm going to take it for today. Or we can just make magical effects. No, poison spray. We get to choose an additional language, so we're going to do that right now. So we'll just go down here. Obviously I'm not going to pick elf because I'm already going to get elf, and I'm already going to get to pick something like common, so we want something else that might be slightly useful to us. I could go with dwarven, or I could go with goblin or orc. So I think I'm going to go with goblin. We'll just pick that. It's not so much because they would necessarily have buddies that are goblins, but I'm picking it because maybe that's the sort of enemy or foe that they deal with quite a lot, goblins. Okay, so we've done pretty much all the race stuff. As you can see, you do actually have to sort of go in and select things and check on things. Not all the time will that happen, but sometimes you do. So we've done races. Let's go to our class. That's next. And it gives us a breakdown. We can multi-class, but we're only going to go with level 1. And as I already said, we're going to pick a wizard for today. Alright, right down here, all the different classes, and we want the wizard. And it gives you a breakdown so you can see all the stuff that you're going to get, whether you get how many hit dice you get, how many hit points you're going to get, all that sort of stuff is all listed here. It's just the same sort of information you would get from the player's handbook. Nice and simple, signature spells, and we're going to add that class. Bam, it's done. Okay, so we've got a few things we've got to do now. First, our hit points should already be calculated. We shouldn't have to worry about that. That should already be there. We shouldn't have to do anything whatsoever. We're getting the maximum in this case because that's what you do. You get the maximum number of hit points from your hit dice at level 1, and then when we level up, we'll get a different value. You'll roll for your value and then add your constitution modifier, or you'll get the average, which is 4 plus your constitution modifier every time you level up. We'll get our constitution modifier added to this value over here, the maximum hit points, once I've actually selected that ability score or modifier. Alright, so moving down, let's go to proficiencies and have a look what we've got. So we've got some choices to make. I want to pick some proficiencies. There's a whole bunch of information here listed. We can show more. This gives our saving throws, our skills that we can select from, our weapons that we can use, stuff like that. So let's pick some wizardy sorts of things. I haven't really decided exactly what my background is going to be, but I'm going to go with something that is more knowledge based. I'm going to go with, say, a religion. And we're going to go with something like, I feel like Arcana is sort of not necessary. We're going to go with something else. We'll go with history. I can go back, so even if I select something, I can actually change that, go back and make adjustments. So we'll part way through here, so we've selected that. We want some spell casting to be sorted out, so let's have a look. So it tells us that we have to have a spell book, or we're going to have a spell book, but we can also have a spell casting focus rather than using components, and it gives us a breakdown about how that all works. So there's a little bit of reading involved. We can show less later. Arcane recovery, how that works. Basically it means when you take a short rest you're going to get half your wizard level worth of spell slots back. And what is available at higher levels. Well, not going to worry about that right now. And we're not adding a class because we're only doing a first level wizard. And you can change the level here. If you feel you need to, you can adjust it there. And you can manage your hit points by just clicking on the little button right beside it. Okay, let's have a look at our spells. We have no spells prepared, but we can go through and select some spells. So we're going to add some spells. You currently have no known spells. Learn spells from your list of available spells below. So let's select that. Okay, so we can pick a spell. I think probably the first spell I'm going to go with is, we'll go with Mage Hand, just because I like using Mage Hand. It's a cantrip, so we get 3 cantrips. Mage Hand. And we need 2 more cantrips, so it's, you can see here it's added. It was just 0/3. Now we've got 1 more added, and we'll pick another one, and I'm going to go with Firebolt because I like to burn things. And then we'll select 1 more. We could go with making dancing lighty thingies, or we can go with something else. I like minor illusions as a cantrip, so I'm going to pick that one as well. Cool, so I picked my cantrips, and as you can see there are 3 cantrips learned. I need some spells as well at first level, so we'll deal with that as well. Just shuffle on down here. We should find ourselves a spell that we can use. These I believe are already part and parcel. We'll see. We're going to pick something. Should I pick something different, or should I pick something that's pretty much the same? We'll go with Charm Person. Okay, I've added that to my spell list. Now, how many spells does a wizard get at first level? It's pretty simple. It's not too complicated. You're just going to get 6 usually. Usually you're just going to get 6 spells when you're starting out. And the book, or the player's handbook on page 113, has some recommendations for what you should select. So they suggest Burning Hands, Charm Person, Featherfall, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, and Sleep. I'm going to pick some of those, not all of them. In fact, I want to just change the spell filter to just first level. I don't want the cantrips, so I can actually find everything a bit quicker. So we've got Charm Person already. We can pick Burning Hands if we want, so we'll select that. Detect Magic makes perfect sense to me. It's a bit strange if you have a wizard that can't detect anything. And we'll just scroll down. Magic Missile seems like a good idea. It's your bread and butter for a wizard. And where's Mage Armor? Mage Armor, pick that. Okay, so where are we? I believe I have. Okay, let's just close that. Somebody's trying to send me little messages. I'll have to figure out how to turn that off when I'm doing this sort of thing. Otherwise it's going to make a bit of a mess of things. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't actually give us an option where we can actually see how many we need to select from, which I think is sort of a little bit silly, but so be it. This seems to be how this particular program is set up. So selecting 1 more, and we'll pick Shield because it's good to be able to stop things from causing you damage, so we'll pick that. Alright, so we've got our spells. Okay, moving on. So we've done our class, we've done our spells. We should be able to shift off here and continue on. So we're going to pick determine our ability scores. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. There's the standard array system, which explains you get some set numbers that you punch in and you just go through that, work through it. There's the point buy. I prefer the point buy because even though everybody's character seems pretty much the same in terms of output and power, you don't get bad characters and you don't get really, really awesome characters either. And then there's the manual option where you roll dice. I find that tends to always give you higher than average values, which is why most players really like doing that sort of thing. But we're going to just go with, let's move on, and I'm probably going to use a point buy system. So you select the method here, point buy. And if you don't like doing the point buy, you feel it's too hard, you just go standard array, and it just gives you some values, and you can just select the ability score, and then you just pick the number you want to put into that. So maybe with strength, this wizard doesn't need to be that strong. Okay, if you decide, okay, I don't like that, you know, each time you use one of these numbers from the standard array, it'll be off the list when you go through and work your way through here. So I can put dexterity 10. Seems like a really bad idea, so we won't do that. Let's just put a 13 in there maybe. Constitution maybe more like 14. Intelligence 15. Wisdom 12. Charisma, make it a 10. Okay, so that's a standard array system for building our ability scores. This gives us our modifier, it gives us the base score, it shows us what racial bonuses have been added, any ability improvements, miscellaneous bonuses, stuff like that. So we can see that we get quite a high dexterity increase, so that means we've got a 15 in dex, and we don't get any modifiers from racial, but we do get a +1 racial bonus for the high elf, so that means we get a 16, which is probably really important for a wizard. I would probably make sure that is the highest stat for your character rather than the lowest stat or not quite the highest stat. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a point buy system. I'm not going to bother doing the manual approach, because the manual approach just means you just roll the dice and then you just add those values straight into those boxes. But point buy, if we click here, we can now spend some points. We get 27 points and we can plop it where we like. I've never liked having anything that is going to give me a modifier that's a 0. I feel like a minus on a modifier is something I don't like. So I'm going to do basic average for me, and then we'll have a look, and I'm just going to put 10s into everything so I can see what I've got left. Put a 15 in here because I want a 16 at the end of that, and a 10 here, and a 10 here. And now I've got 8 more points remaining, so this is where I'm going to sort of juggle things round. So I want my dexterity to be reasonably high. If it's not high enough, what's going to happen is when I get hit by something, it's going to hurt quite a lot. And I need that to, I want to get +2 for my racial bonus, so that'll make it a 14 rather than 12. And combined with mage armor, which I should be casting at the start of every single day, that should work out. I also want to have reasonable hit points, so a minimum, I would say, of having a plus in that is a good idea. I have a few more points left. I really don't think that I need to worry about adding more to strength. Wisdom is actually a really good skill for any class, and having a bonus to that, because perception checks, which is wisdom based, is the most common skill check you're going to make. So I'm going to put a bonus in there. I've got 2 more points so I can decide where I'm going to put them. That's going to be a 14. I can try to go a little bit higher to a 13, but it's actually not going to make a significant increase for me. It's going to just pretty much sit it in the same place. So you'll see there's only 1 point. So I don't actually get anything more out of that. And I may probably not put more into this. So I'm going to take that off and go over here and put a point into dexterity, because I may decide to increase this. I'm definitely going to increase my intelligence, and I'm probably going to increase this. So I've got a +1 which I can put somewhere else, and I can decide to put that into any location I like, because it probably won't make too much of a difference. I could put into Constitution if I wanted, or I could put into Wisdom or Charisma. I'm just going to put it into Wisdom. So it's done. So that's the point buy system. And this system and the way that they've laid it out actually makes it reasonably easy for you to do. It's not too complicated. Moving along, description. So describing your character. This is where we're going to pick a background. The backgrounds are really helpful because they help give you mechanical aspects to your character, and they give you some sort of flavour, some features that you might not have had before. So right now I could just skip this, and we'll go to, I feel like, Sage. We'll pick the Sage, and we get proficiency is Arcana. I may have already selected Arcana. I might have to go back and adjust that. So we're going to pick something that's related to, I think, here, nature. and we'll pick some languages, get some additional languages. It'll be interesting to see. It's making sure to actually exclude the languages we already have learned. So Dwarvish and maybe Orcish or Sylvan. There we go, done. And we'll keep the name as it was. This here can be changed at any time, by the way. So researcher gives us an idea of what the researcher does. Basically, you're really good at researching things. Suggested characteristics. Okay, so personality traits. Now you have to manually put this stuff in. You can roll a dice, or you can just select the ones you like, or you can just add whatever you want. You should be able to just add whatever you want to that field. So we're going to have a look and just throw something together fairly quickly. We'll pick this one. So he uses polysyllabic words to convey impression of great and whatever. Too complicated for me. Moving on. We'll pick one more. Alright, we'll add this one here. So we've chosen 2 personality traits. I'm going to pick an ideal. So look through your ideals, decide which one you really, really like. I'm going to go with path to power. Knowledge is a path to power. That's selected. We're going to pick a bond. And yes. Ooh, it's hard work. We're going to pick this one. I work to preserve a library or university or monastery of some kind. Flaws. So pick a flaw. And you don't have to, as I said, honestly, you don't have to pick these things. You can just write anything in later on if you want to. I'm easily distracted by promise of information. Cool. That's done. Moving on. Character details. We can choose an alignment. I'm just going to go with, I don't know, neutral good. We can pick a faith if you want, but I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to skip that for now. Lifestyle options, you can select that. It has all the different options available. I'm going to go with just modest. He might actually be even less than modest. He's starting out right, so he might be a poor wizard. He hasn't made any money yet. Physical characteristics, so you can hit that, click this, and then add them in. So we'll put, here is black, skin is, I guess, white, eyes are, whoops, blue eyes, height, 6 feet, weight, yeah, okay, I've got to be careful. A 6 foot elf, and what would they weigh in pounds? I actually have no idea. I'm just going to put 80 for now. How old? 150. Pick a gender. Male. We've already done the personality traits. We should have. That should already be in there now. If we go here, we should find that they're already plugged in because we already selected them. And then we can put in notes if we want to. And it covers everything from enemies, backstory, organisations, all that sort of stuff. So we've essentially done that section. That's all. That's our background section covered. So we're moving along. Okay, starting gear. There's a couple of ways you can do your starting gear. You can just pick the options that they suggest, and then it'll just automatically create it. Or you can go through and specifically pick the things that you want. Or you can just use your starting gold. So we'll have a look at how that works out. I'm going to go with starting gear. So choose equipment. Now you can add in magic items later. Obviously when you're starting out you probably won't have any magic items, but we just go either click equipment or click gold, and that gives you a gold value to spend. So we'll go equipment, and opens up a window, and we can now go through and select the ones we want. So a quarterstaff or a dagger. So I'm going to go with quarterstaff. Do we want an arcane focus or spell component pouch? We're going to go with an arcane focus. And I know a lot of people say, well, what about the component pouch that runs out of materials? Well, Dungeon Master might require that, but truthfully there should be more than enough material in your component pouch to last you quite a long time. Arcane focus, there's a couple of ways you can go about that. You can go with a crystal, an orb, a rod, a staff, or a wand. We're going to go with a wand. Keep it pretty simple. We can have a scholar's pack or an explorer's pack. We're going to go with a scholar's pack because this is like it's a pretty nerdy individual. And it tells you exactly what's in it. It's got a backpack, a book of lore, a bottle of ink, ink pen, 10 sheets of parchment, and a light bag of sand. I don't know what the sand is for, and a small knife. And yeah, that should be. We can also add additional stuff. We also get like 10 gold, so we can add some additional stuff to our starting gear. So we can go in here, and if it comes up, okay, so that's our starting gear. We want to add an item, and I believe it is add item here. Alright, so if it's been sensible, there's a filter so I can find things fast. So I want a healer's kit. Because I like 5 gold and it's really sensible to have. Right there, that was easy. Punch it into the filter, select it and add it. And I still have 5 gold left. And I can, it wouldn't be stupid to grab some other additional items, but just to avoid making this video incredibly long, we will keep moving forward. So that's all our gear sorted. Okay, so at this point we should basically have a full character sheet. I'm going to click on the character sheet in a second so you can see it. You can also export it. There's a button here to export it and so you can print it. We'll go with the view character sheet first. Okay, so we've got all our abilities here, our modifiers, includes our saving throws. The little green dot beside there means that we are proficient in those saving throws. And it explains about how we get advantage on certain types of saving throws. All our skill checks are listed. Anything that has a dot beside it means that we are proficient in it. And I probably should go back and adjust this because I've actually got this twice because of my background and my class, so that I get more skills. It's better to have more skills rather than less. And I'll do this probably a little bit later. Or maybe I'll do it right now. We'll see how we go. Our unarmed strike, so how much, what I rolled to hit, and what sort of damage it's going to do. Pretty much no damage, like one hit point, that's it. Our basic spell attack for our fire cantrip is here. And yeah, it's laid out reasonably well. Our racial traits can be seen here. We've already seen most of that information already. Class features are listed here, proficiencies, background information, and all the other things. It's all broken up into different sections. And our spells are all a whole bunch are all here. And we should have a section for our equipment. So I'm going to go backward because what I want to do is I want to show you the PDF so that you can print it, right? That's right, here we go. Exporting. Load up. There we go. Alright, so all the details should be filled out right throughout here. And I can add additional things. So I can add in the attacks for my quarterstaff or other spells that I might have access to. You'll notice though that the entry for arcane recovery and other things related to your class and your race doesn't spell it out in detail. It just gives you like 1 or 2 words and then you've got to look it up. So I feel like that is a bit annoying. It would be nice to have a little bit of information there so I don't have to look it up in the book every single time. All of my equipment is here, my languages, my proficiencies are listed here, and then I got another page. My spells are listed on this page here. I don't know why it hasn't populated this section here. That's a little bit odd. So maybe I need to go back and make some adjustments. It's entirely possible. Right, so now that we've done the basic gist of building a character, I'm going to grab the pop-up window and just check the chat and see if there's anybody actually asking any questions. It doesn't seem to be any questions whatsoever, which is a shame. So if that's the case, I would say we are pretty much done. I mean, this is the longest process in terms of creating a character I can go back. I can actually add in, I'm just going to go over here to my characters. I can add in a picture, which I didn't show you how to do, so let's do that now. So view, edit, and yes, you can delete them as well, you don't have to keep them. And we just hit there, and we want an elf character. We're going to go with this one here. Populates a whole bunch. Usually starts off with the one related to your race, and then you just scroll on down and you get access to more of them. So we'll go with this guy, and apply, and it's done. Piece of cake, nothing to it. Very, very, very simple and easy. And I think there are probably things they can improve, but you know, it's not bad considering. There don't appear to be anybody who's asking questions, so I'm going to leave the chat up for, I don't know, a little while, not too long, but I'm going to do my sign out, and then anybody who wants to ask questions at the end of that can, but that's basically the gist of it. I think it's actually reasonable for a character builder. You can access it on your phone, you can access it on a mobile device. There are better character builders out there, and I have done reviews and videos on them, so you can check them out if you want to. They're usually under smartphone apps for D&D. So if you found this video helpful or informative, you know, please share, like, and subscribe. And I find that really helpful, just to boost my self-confidence. If you haven't subscribed, then subscribe would be really helpful. I do videos pretty much every day. You can support my channel by watching the videos, but also there's usually a link in the description, an Amazon affiliate link. You can click that on, and I will basically get a small commission, and you pay exactly the same price. You don't even have to buy the thing that it's linked to. You can go to that link, go somewhere else, and then buy something, and I get a small commission, and you pay exactly the same price, which is awesome. If you have any questions, I'm going to answer those now in the live stream, and if you're not part of the live stream, you can essentially just put a comment in the bottom after it's published, and I will answer those questions. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Alright, so let's answer your question. Is it Bert Atreus 1? Sorry if I've got your name wrong, I apologize. So where can you get this from? Okay, so it's really simple. You just go onto the internet. It's under www.dndbeyond.com, and you just create yourself a Twitch account so you can access the website and use that Twitch account to get in there, and you can just access pretty much everything apart from the things that I've paid. The character builder is free. You don't have to pay for it. There are sections of it that you would have to pay for if you want additional content, but usually they don't give you access to it and under the free version unless you've actually paid for that content, so you're not wasting time clicking on things and just discovering that, oh, hang on, I've got to pay for it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure with the character builder that's what they've done. And there will be a link in the description to the website so you can actually get access to it. So if that's something you really want to use, you can. Shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully that answered your question. Are there any more questions? Otherwise, you are welcome. I'm glad I could help. And like I said, this is not the only character builder out there. I've made a couple of characters now. A little bit of jumping back and forth tends to happen, but there are other apps that you can use that are really good. Okay, if there are no more questions, I am going to shut down this live stream and move on. Okay. Don't see any more questions in the chat, so I think that means we are done for today. And yeah, hopefully it was helpful to somebody.